My sister said this year's without children. Money's tight. I agreed. Then I saw her Facebook. Neighbors, kids, cousins' kids, catered buffet, animator, the whole family together. My son asked, "Wasn't there no party?" I snapped a picture of the envelope with their rent payment inside and sent. Return to sender. 40 minutes later, my dad was calling me over and over. 3 weeks before my mom's birthday, I got a text from my sister Lisa. It was short and casual, like she was asking me to bring potato salad to a barbecue. "Hey, just for your information, this year's birthday is going to be adults only. Kids are great, but money's tight and mom just wants a chill night. Hope that's okay." No explanation, no apology, just a shrug of a text like it was some normal thing we always did. I stared at it for a long time. It wasn't the first time Lisa had said something that felt off, but this one hit different. I was standing in my kitchen when I read it. My son Jake was at the table finishing homework, and Ellie was coloring on the floor beside the fridge. I looked at them and immediately thought, how am I going to explain this? Grandma's birthday was a tradition. They looked forward to it every year. The cake, the cousins, the chaos. Now, I was supposed to tell them it wasn't happening because money was tight. I almost asked for more details, but I didn't, because Lisa had been living in my basement for 8 months, rent-free. I covered groceries for 6 people now. Her daughter was enrolled in the same daycare as mine. I paid for that too. She borrowed my car. She used my Netflix, my Amazon, my everything. So I figured if anyone had the right to be a little strapped, it was her. And if she said there wasn't a party this year, then fine. No party. I played along. Didn't mention it to the kids. Didn't even mention it to my wife until 2 days before, when she asked what we were doing for Mom's birthday. I shrugged and told her the new excuse. Adults only. Money tight, low-key. She raised an eyebrow, but we dropped it. We took the kids to the park instead and bought them ice cream. Saturday morning rolled around. I didn't think much of it until after lunch when I opened Facebook just to scroll a bit. There it was. Lisa had posted an album. 43 photos. Captioned, "Happy birthday to the best mom in the world. Party popper, sparkling heart birthday cake." I clicked, already feeling a tightness in my stomach. First photo, my mom holding a mimosa and smiling in front of a big silver balloon arch. Second photo, a group shot. Lisa, Mom, Dad, 4 of our cousins, all their kids, and even the neighbor's toddler sitting on Lisa's lap. Third photo, a table overflowing with catered Italian food, trays of lasagna, chicken marsala, garlic knots, all from the restaurant that used to be my mom's birthday tradition before Lisa moved in. Fourth photo, a magician, a real one, in a full sequin vest and everything, performing for a group of kids. Fifth photo, Lisa's daughter getting her face painted. Sixth photo, a bounce house in the yard. I kept scrolling. My stomach kept turning. There were over a dozen kids in those pictures, and not one of them was mine. Jake walked up behind me while I was still looking at them. He leaned on my shoulder and squinted at the screen. Then he asked the question that snapped something clean in my brain. Wasn't there no party? I didn't say a word, just turned off the phone and stared out the window for a minute. After a few seconds, I stood up, walked downstairs to the office, opened my drawer, and pulled out the white envelope I always prepped for Lisa at the start of each month. Inside was $950, her rent. She never asked for it anymore. It just appeared in the same spot on the 5th every month like clockwork. Except now, I held it in my hand and didn't feel generosity. I felt like a damn idiot. I grabbed a Sharpie, crossed out her name and wrote, "Return to sender," in huge black letters across the front. I took a photo and sent it to her. That was it. No text, no message, just a picture. 40 minutes later, my phone started buzzing. First Lisa, then Dad, then Lisa again, then a text from Dad. What the hell is going on? Call me now. He let it ring. I knew exactly what was going on. The little lie unraveled, and I wasn't playing dumb anymore. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't going to make things easier for her. She had made her choices. Now I was going to make mine. I didn't answer any of the calls. Not Lisa's, not Dad's. I waited. 3 hours later, she finally texted, "Can you not be dramatic? It was just easier without more kids. It wasn't a personal thing." Then 5 minutes after that, "Also, what does the rent envelope mean? Are you mad about something else?" I didn't respond. I was done explaining myself to people who had never once tried to understand me. Around 8 p.m., I heard the knock. I didn't even have to look. Lisa always knocked in sets of 3. I opened the door. She was standing there alone, arms crossed, wearing a t-shirt from the party. It had a giant, glittery Mom's Birthday Bash 2025 logo across the front. I just stared at her. She started with a deep breath, and that fake, calm voice she used when she was about to lie. It was a small thing. Mom wanted to keep it low-key, and it just got bigger than expected. You know how people are. It wasn't some big conspiracy against you. I asked one thing. Just one. "Why did you tell me there was no party?" Her mouth opened and closed like she was trying to pick the right version of the lie. She finally landed on, "Because your kids are loud. They run around. Mom just wanted one day without that." I said nothing, just stood there. She added, "You're making a huge deal out of something that wasn't about you." And that was it right there. The thing that made everything click for me. This wasn't about the party. It wasn't even about my kids. It was about control. For 8 months, Lisa lived off me like it was owed to her. Rent, food, bills, all covered. I never asked her to pay me back. I never made her feel small for needing help. And still, she saw herself as the one who got to decide who mattered and who didn't. She took my help and used it to rebuild her life, but couldn't even spare a slice of cake for my children. So I told her I wasn't paying for her life anymore. Rent was on her. If she wanted to live here another month, she'd have to cover it herself. She started laughing. I swear to God, she actually laughed in my face. Said I was overreacting. Said I was being petty. Said I must be hating my life if this is what gets me mad. I stepped back and shut the door. Didn't say another word. The next morning, she was gone. Not fully. Her stuff was still downstairs, but she wasn't home. I figured she was sulking at Mom's, or maybe crashing at some friend's place. That night, my dad showed up. No warning. I was in the garage when I heard the front door open, and my wife call out, "John, your dad's here." I came inside and he was standing there holding a 6-pack like he thought this was just going to be a calm chat between men. He opened with, "You're not really going to kick your sister out over a birthday party, are you?" That was how he saw it. Like I was throwing a tantrum. I asked him if he knew about the party. Of course he did. He was in half the pictures. He tried to act like he was just following Lisa's lead. "You know how your sister is," he said. "We didn't want drama." I asked if my kids were drama. He didn't answer that. Just said Lisa had enough on her plate already and it was unfair to pile more on her. I asked if they had any idea what I'd been doing for her all year. Again, no answer. Then he said something that stayed with me for the rest of the week. "She's family. You don't punish family for being flawed." I didn't argue. I didn't scream. I just nodded and walked back to the garage. That night, I changed the Wi-Fi password, disconnected her devices, canceled the DoorDash subscription she had been using, stopped the auto transfer I had set up for her daughter's daycare. I didn't tell her. I just did it. The next morning, I heard her stomping around downstairs. She finally texted, "Did you shut off the internet?" Seriously? No reply. She went silent for 2 days. Then on Thursday, I came home from work and the basement was half empty. Her clothes were gone. Her daughter's toys packed. Food gone from the fridge. She didn't say goodbye. Didn't say thank you. She left one thing behind. The glittery birthday shirt crumpled on the couch. I should have felt relief. Instead, I just felt cold. I knew this wasn't over. Not even close. Lisa was quiet for a week after she left. No texts. No calls. I think she was expecting me to come crawling back. Maybe send some apology cash with a "let's not fight, we're family" message. That's how it always went before. She'd push too far, I'd get mad, then I'd feel guilty and fix it. Not this time. I kept the basement locked. My wife suggested we start cleaning it out, but I wanted to wait. Not because I thought Lisa was coming back, but because I needed to make sure this wasn't going to turn into a bigger storm. And I was right to wait. The storm came the following Sunday. We were sitting down for dinner when my mom called. I let it go to voicemail. Then she texted, "We need to talk. Please don't do this to your sister. She's having a hard enough time." I didn't answer. 10 minutes later, she sent another. "You're not cutting off your sister over cake." I set my phone face down and kept eating. My wife raised an eyebrow. I told her I'd explain later. By the time I took the kids into bed, I had 5 missed calls from my mom, 3 from my dad, and 1 from Lisa, her first since she left. I didn't answer any of them. The next morning, my dad showed up again. This time, he wasn't holding a 6-pack. He looked pissed, didn't even wait for an invitation. Just walked in like he still lived there. "We need to end this nonsense now," he said. I didn't say anything. "She's your sister. She needed help. You gave it. Great. But now you're turning into the enemy over a party. That's petty." I finally said what I'd been thinking for weeks. It wasn't just a party. It was a choice. She chose to leave my kids out of something they were supposed to be part of. She lied. She used me, and you helped her. He blinked, then laughed like I was a joke. "You think you're the victim here? Lisa's got no job, no stability. You think this was easy for her? You think she planned some conspiracy?" I didn't answer. I just walked over to the drawer by the fridge and pulled out a folder. Inside were every receipt, every Venmo transfer, every auto payment I made for Lisa over the past 8 months. I dropped it on the counter. "Over $7,8. I said. "That's what I spent on someone who couldn't even let my son have a piece of birthday cake." He didn't touch the folder. "You're too angry to see clearly," he said. "You're making this bigger than it is." I asked him one thing before he left. Did Mom know Jake and Ellie weren't invited? He hesitated, then nodded. She didn't want to say anything because she didn't want to upset you. That was the last straw. For years, my parents treated Lisa like she was made of glass, and me like I was built to carry weight. Lisa gets grace. I get guilt. Lisa get excuse. I get expectations. I told him to leave. That night, I changed the lock on the basement door and sent a locksmith to change the key on the old apartment Lisa used to have, the one I'd kept paying the rent on, just in case she needed a backup. I canceled the account I set up for her daughter's college fund. I called the daycare and transferred the remaining credit to my daughter's account. I made it all clean. And then I blocked Lisa on everything. I gave my parents one last chance. I sent them both a message. "If you want to stay in my life, you respect my decisions. No more guilt. No more defending her. No more lies. My kids will never be excluded again. And if you think that's petty, then maybe we shouldn't talk for a while." My dad didn't reply. My mom said, "We raised you better than this." That was when I realized they didn't really know me at all. 2 days after I sent the final message to my parents, it was quiet. No calls, no texts. It felt eerie, like the calm after a storm, isn't really over. My wife said, maybe this was a good thing. Maybe they finally got it. I wanted to believe that. I really did. Then on Thursday night, my doorbell rang. It was almost 10 p.m. I looked through the peephole and felt that old pit in my stomach again. It was my mom, Alone, holding a casserole dish like we were living in some TV drama where comfort food fixed everything. I opened the door just enough to talk, but didn't let her in. She asked if we could talk inside. I said no. She said she didn't want to fight, just wanted me to hear her out. She started slow, talking about families sticking together and how resentment can ruin generations. But after 5 minutes of that, she finally dropped the script and got to what she really came for. She's staying with us now. Lisa, she said, you left her no choice. I almost laughed. No choice. She'd had every choice. She just never thought I'd stop cleaning up after them. Then she said something that caught me completely off guard. She tried to get a job last week. She used your address on the application. The employer called for a background check, and they found out about her eviction from last year. She lost the job offer. I was confused. What eviction? She looked uncomfortable. Last December, before she moved in with you. We helped her hide it. We thought she'd fix things once she was settled. She begged us not to tell you. I had it known. She told me she just needed a place for a month or two while she looked for something better. Said she had good references. Said she just needed to reset. I never questioned it. My mom went quiet again. Then, with the most bitter voice I've ever heard from her, she said, "You took everything from her, John." I was floored. I took everything. I paid her bills, fed her kid, gave up space in my own house for nearly a year. And the moment I stopped, suddenly I was the villain. I was the destroyer. That night, after she left, I sat down with my wife and told her everything, even the stuff I tried to keep from her during those earlier months. How Lisa once used my credit card without asking. How I found her daughter using Ellie's school tablet because Lisa never replaced the one her kid broke. How she guilted me into paying for a therapy appointment, then canceled it and used the money for concert tickets. My wife didn't even look surprised. She just said, "So, what are you going to do?" And I told her the truth. I'm not done yet. The next morning, I went online and pulled the records from the eviction. Lisa had used a fake reference to get that apartment in the first place. She listed me as a reference without telling me and used a number that routed to a prepaid phone she answered herself. That part, I didn't care about. But what I did care about was finding out that she had an unpaid electric bill of $1,400 tied to my name. She'd used my info when she first moved in with me to set things up faster. I'd assumed it was just for internet. Turns out she switched the utilities into my name without telling me. She stopped paying the bill in July. I called the company. They said I was responsible. That was it. I spent the whole afternoon gathering every document. Emails, texts, screenshots. I wasn't just cutting her off. I was protecting myself from whatever financial disaster she might drag me into next. But before I could even finish, I got an email. Subject: important message from Jackson Elementary. Jake's school. I opened it. Apparently, Lisa had tried to pick up Jake from school that afternoon. Told them I asked her to. Said she was helping while I was overwhelmed. The school called me immediately when she showed up, but I hadn't seen it. I'd been on the phone with the electric company. They didn't let her take him, thank God. But the fact that she even tried, that was it. There was no doubt anymore. She wasn't just selfish. She was dangerous. I called my lawyer that night and started the paperwork. Restraining order. Form of financial dispute. Documentation of unauthorized account use. The next time Lisa would see me, it wouldn't be at a birthday or a family dinner. It would be in court. The legal stuff moved faster than I expected. Maybe because my lawyer had seen this kind of thing before. Families turning into strangers overnight. He didn't flinch when I showed him the school pickup report or the electric bill. He just nodded, asked for copies, and told me what to expect. 2 days later, Lisa was served. She showed up at my door within the hour, screaming from the sidewalk. My kids were inside. I told her once, just once, to leave, or I'd call the cops. She kept going, louder, trying to bait me into coming outside. I closed the door. That night, my dad sent me a voicemail. Just one line. "We're not that kind of family, John." That stuck with me. Not because it was true, but because it was a lie he clearly believed. We were exactly that kind of family. The kind where loyalty was demanded, not earned. The kind where guilt was currency. The kind where the only rule was protect Lisa no matter what. I used to think I was the problem. Too rigid, too serious, not forgiving enough. Now I knew the truth. I was the only one not lying to myself. The next week was quiet. I think Lisa realized she couldn't touch me anymore, legally or emotionally. The school updated their list of authorized pickups. The electric company froze the account and agreed to remove my name after the documents were processed. But then, my mom showed up again. No casserole this time, just her standing in the driveway, arms crossed. I didn't open the door. I spoke through the camera. She asked if I was really going through with the restraining order. I told her yes. She asked what I thought that would do to the family, and I finally said the thing I'd been holding back since this all started. Nothing. Because this family broke a long time ago. She stood there for a while, then said, "This isn't you. You're not cruel." That part hurt because I wasn't cruel. I was just done being the safety net. Done letting people weaponize my kindness. Done pretending that keeping the peace was more important than protecting my kids. I didn't hear from them again for a while until the Sunday after everything was filed. Jake was helping me wash the car. Ellie was riding her scooter. My wife was out shopping. It was a good, normal day. Then Jake asked me something out of the blue. "Is Grandma mad at me?" I stopped what I was doing, asked him what made him think that. He said, "Because we didn't get to go to her party and now you don't talk to her." I told him no, that none of this was his fault, that sometimes grown-ups make bad choices, that sometimes people have to stay away from each other to stay safe. Then he asked the question I knew was coming. Are we ever going to see her again? I didn't answer because I didn't know. That night, I got a message from Lisa. Not through text or call. She sent a handwritten letter. It was shoved into our mailbox. No envelope, no stamp. Inside were 3 sentences. You win. They're on your side now, too. I hope it was worth it. No apology, no accountability, just blame. I stared at those words for a long time. And then, for the first time in my life, I felt completely free. I kept the letter on my nightstand for a few days. Not because it meant anything, but because I wanted to remind myself what it took to finally let go. It was bitter and small, and handwritten in the same handwriting Lisa used in high school when she forged Mom's signature on permission slips. Nothing had changed. I didn't respond. I didn't need to. The paperwork went through. The restraining order was granted. Lisa was legally required to stay away from my house, my work, my kids' school. The electric bill was officially transferred off my name. Her daughter's daycare account was closed out. It was over. The quiet that followed felt strange at first, like something was missing. But it wasn't peace that felt unfamiliar. It was the absence of crisis. The following Saturday, I got a call from my cousin Ben. We hadn't spoken in almost a year. He said, "Hey man, just wanted to say I saw what happened. You did the right thing." That was it. No details, no drama. Just someone in the family acknowledging what everyone else pretended not to see. 2 days later, my aunt called to say she and my uncle were throwing a small birthday dinner for their son. She said, "You and the kids are absolutely invited. No politics, just family." That was the moment I realized how far this had rippled. Apparently, my parents had been telling people I cut everyone off over cake. Lisa had twisted the story to make herself the victim. Said I evicted a single mom and stole her support system. But some people knew the truth, and others were starting to ask questions. Still, I didn't chase anyone down to defend myself. I wasn't building a case. I was building a life. The last straw came a week later. We were getting ready to leave for the birthday dinner when I saw it. A Facebook post from my mom. Public. It said, "Some people don't know how to forgive, but I pray for them anyway. Especially the ones raising children to do the same." That post stayed up for 3 hours. Then she took it down. I didn't reply. But I blocked her and Dad. And Lisa. That night, after the kids went to bed, I deleted every photo of Lisa from my phone. I archived every message. I unfollowed every mutual friend who had been playing both sides. I closed the door. Not in anger, not in spite, in peace. That was the real revenge. Not screaming matches, not financial cutoffs, not even the legal paperwork. It was letting go. Letting go of the role they wrote for me. Letting go of the version of family where one person always had to lose for someone else to win. We didn't go back to how things were. We moved forward without them, and we were better for it.